Welcome today to Ask an IBCLC. I'm Molly with Wisco Lactation.
And I'm Ashleigh with Wisco Lactation.
And today we're here with Julia Shannon to talk about how occupational therapy and how she can help any issues that's come up. So Julia, tell us a little bit about your background.
So I'm an occupational therapist, and I use a variety of tools, including the Feld method, myofunctional therapy, oral motor therapy, and a variety of manual therapies, including craniosacral,
Amazing.
Feld method.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
Great.
Amazing.
So let's talk a little bit more about Wisco Integrative Therapies and when you're working with somebody, what are you assessing for?
As an occupational therapist, I look at functional tasks in your day.
Cool.
So looking at your day, it could include eating, sleeping, talking, playing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Moving.
Right. That's great. And then, so if you find something, let's say you're assessing and you're finding something that's not happening as it should, what are some of those tools and a little bit more about them and how that can help? I know you mentioned myofunctional therapy, so that's more about the mouth, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So kind of talk about, and I've been through myofunctional therapy myself, so
Yeah.
I can talk a little bit about that, but just telling people what does that involve? What is that therapy specifically?
Myofunctional therapy.
Yeah.
So myofunctional therapy works on the face, the mouth, the tongue, and the jaw to work on
the muscles.
The muscles.
Yes,
So
the
movement,
yeah.
strength, coordination.
Sure.
And that can include things for, eating, swallowing, speaking, sleeping, appropriate tongue posture, appropriate mouth posture.
Right. So it's really exercises that help
target those areas.
Certain things and strengthen certain things. And then, so that's one piece of it. And then you also do Feldenkrais. So I don't know the nitty gritty of that. So tell me a little bit more about what exactly you're doing when you're doing Feldenkrais.
Yeah, Feldenkrais is a little unique. It uses gentle movement, gentle touch, but it's really through a movement pattern. So it fits really well with the occupational therapy and the myofunctional therapy because you're using functional movements to reorganize with awareness so that somebody can be aware of what they're doing and kind of change their movement patterns through the day.
I've seen you work with a lot of babies and you'll be doing something in this kind of repetitive motion and we're like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm teaching them this movement pattern. Cool. And it's so cool to watch you in action.
It really is. It's a lesson. I consider it a lesson.
Totally.
It's an education of the nervous system for efficient movement patterns.
And you can do that for babies, toddlers, adults, anybody.
Yeah. Every age, we all move.
Amazing. I love that. That's great.
So I know specifically for me, what it looked like was Julie had me laying flat and then my foot kind of turns to one side. So you were taking my foot and kind of just moving it in a certain way to try to get it. You're moving with the pattern that it was. Whereas I felt when I was in PT, it kind of went.
You're trying to force it
the other way.
Yeah.
But I feel what you did helped me a lot more.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Just a specific personal example.
Yeah.
So those are a couple things that you do. I know you also have some training in craniosacral therapy. How does that differ from Feldenkrais, I guess?
It actually, I feel it's an addition instead of differing.
Yeah.
Craniosacral blends really nicely with Feldenkrais because it's really that listening to the system.
Sure.
Same thing that I did with your foot.
Yeah.
I'm listening. So when I'm listening with Feldenkrais, I'm listening to a movement pattern and listening to that nervous system through the skeleton. And craniosacral, it's the same. You're listening and you're waiting and sensing and kind of adapting with that system. So it's actually a good addition together because it's a lot of listening and going with and helping kind of bolster those movements.
Amazing.
And the overall goal of it is just going back to daily function.
Yep.
Daily function.
Yep. And making sure that those things are all as they should be, right?
Amazing.
Or I like to think of it maybe not as they should be, but bringing awareness to it and maybe playing around with some change.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Meeting the people where they are, what their needs are.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's great.
Yay.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today, Julia. And thank you for all joining us as well. If you want to learn more about what Julia offers, you can go to wiscotherapies.com to learn more.
Okay. Bye. Bye.